So, when I had to take out something from this text, because I only had 250 words and I was really over. But the phrase that I used for Donald is, it was limited to 200 and I took an extra 50. Thank you, Floyd. Thank you, I appreciate it. The term that I used is cultural ciphers, right? And I think Glissant writes about this idea of the right to opacity. That we all, especially as artists and creatives, we all have a right to opacity. We have the right to not have to explain everything or anything at all. And I think that to me was so profound in Donald's work. It's so complex, it's so opaque, and intentionally so, because he was grappling with a lot that he did not understand, and how could he, right? The colonial experience in the Caribbean is very different from the colonial experience in the United States. And so there was a lot of things that he was working through himself. But where I did find some clarity, and my fellow literary scholar here will, I think, agree, is if you read his titles, he was very intentional in what he titled his work. So as the poet in him was also thinking about, well, what do I name these things, right? And so Guyana is in the titles. Guyana is entitled with Kite Your Falls in it. The piece suspended is called The Mark of Brer Nancy. Brer Nancy is an incredible folklore myth in our culture. Google it, you will be fascinated by it. So where he was adding these cultural ciphers within the work itself and intentionally didn't maybe want you to decode them, right, by design, he was coding the titles themselves. And I thought that was an incredibly beautiful thing to lean into. Brandi's gonna write that essay, she doesn't know it yet, about decoding the poetry and the language in his work. But I think he was very intentional in not letting us into every single thing. And you can see that just in the making of the work. He hid stuff behind his paintings. So you have to be actually really looking, to see what's behind them. And it's laborious to pull those things out, as we know, and see what's coded behind that. So he was a master coder as well.